Hey everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell project to share with you today, but before I do that I wanted to share this Wonderful World bundle that you can get during our celebration promotion during July and August. This one is if you purchase a $100 order, so if you're ordering supplies or stamp sets or new embellishments, all kinds of fun stuff you could do to get to a $100 order. You can choose to have the stamp set and the designer series paper that's designed to go with the stamp set as your free celebration item. So I'm going to be using the stamp set today for our project, and I'm using a little bit of trim from one of the papers, but I'm going to show you the papers real quick. So we've got these bold prints. This one would be great if you wanted to cut out those flowers and use them independently. Right, there's smaller print. This one's kind of busy with the green background. Here's a beautiful pink background with those different colored roses. Here's another one where the flowers are kind of standalone. And then let me flip them over and I'll show you. This is the one I'm using today. And then these are the other smaller prints that you could use on your cards as well. So lots of fun colors and images with these flowers. And they could be standalone elements or you could use them as embellishments. So I just wanted to make sure I gave you a peek of what that bundle is. Okay, so now here is the card I'm making for you today. Okay, so I'm doing a little technique stuff for you today. I'm doing monochrome stamping. I'm only going to be using one color. I'm using the Melon Mambo, so I've got the cardstock and the ink for that. I'm going to do some background stamping. We're going to use a fun new set of tags I've just purchased for my collection. We're going to add a vellum layer here. There's just a little scrap of DSP for a paper banner. And then all these three tags I'm using all come from that tag die set. I'll show it to you. And then I'm going to stamp and cut out the flowers for the embellishment on the front. So let me go ahead and show you the card step by step. Okay, so here are my pieces. Now remember, all the details for all the measurements will be on my blog, and I have a photo tutorial there as well, so you don't have to worry about writing anything down. Just enjoy the video as I go through. Okay, so I've got all these pieces, right? Seems like a lot, but it's not really. So watch. This one is going to get die cut into a tag. Okay? There's that. This one's just going to be my little embellishment. Now, this one here, I went ahead and die cut it first with one of my labels. Okay, so I die cut it first, and then I'm going to stamp it twice to make the flowers there. So I'll stamp that in just a minute. This one I die cut with the bigger label. This is my vellum layer. Okay, so after I die cut that, I got a nice smooth vellum layer. Then I put it through my embossing machine with my Fern embossing folder because I just wanted it to have a little bit of texture but not steal the show from the card, but I didn't want it plain, right? I didn't want it flat, but I wanted to have a little bit. So I ran it through my embossing folder on my embossing machine to just add a little bit of texture to that tag. So see how quickly those went? Boom, boom, boom. All right, and then the stamping part, we're going to do our sentiment. We're going to do our flowers for our tag. We're going to do our inside piece. I'm going to background stamp the base, and I'm going to stamp the envelope. So all these pieces are going to get ink. Okay, lots of ink. Okay, but it's all the same color, and it's really a repetitive stamping process, so don't get overwhelmed that there's so many pieces to stamp. We're just going to stamp them. Okay, so just to keep my table a little cleaner, I'm going to bring an extra piece of mess mat. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up my ink. Now the stamp set I showed you only has the flower images, right? The Wonderful World just comes with flower images. So I am pairing it with the Very Best Occasion stamp set, which is in the July to January summer fall mini collection. So I thought that was a fun new sentiment set, and I'm using the Happy Birthday because it's summertime. I'm not really ready to make my my Christmas cards yet, which is what some of these are maybe more set out for, but this one I can use for anything. Okay, so that's where I'm getting my sentiments from. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my center. This is going to be my liner, and I'm just going to put that right in the middle. And then I'm going to do my little tag with my Happy Birthday. I haven't even put my labels on these yet, guys. That's how new they are. Okay, there are my sentiments. Okay, Now the next thing I'm going to do is stamp my flower from the Wonderful World set. So I'm just going to ink this up. So the first one I'm going to do, and I'm just going to leave that right there in that die cut just because it's easy to do. Okay, as I'm going to do my label. And then I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm going to stamp it again over here. Okay, and I'm going to end up fussy cutting that one out, so don't worry about that. Then I'm going to do the same flower on the edge of my liner. So I'm going to have a nice active edge for the inside of my card. I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope. Oh, I rocked it. That's all right. So I rocked that. So I've got those, and then I've got my card base. So this time I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to do my repetitive stamping. So I'm kind of starting midline, right? And then I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to go down low, and then I'm going to come up high, and I'm just doing background stamping, and I'm just going to fill in the card base with my images. Okay, just like that. Not too hard, right? Alright, so I'm going to close up my ink so I don't get it everywhere it's not supposed to be. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just assemble our card. Okay, so first things first, I've got my vellum and my little DSP. So I'm just going to slip my DSP trim, kind of like a paper ribbon, in through there. Okay, and then I'm going to add adhesive. Looks like I still have a snail here on my table, so I'm just going to add adhesive to the back of that strip. So I'm going on the back of the vellum and on the ends of those DSPs, and then that's just going to go down on the center of my card. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is add my little fuzzy edge twine here. So what I do is I have a piece of the frayed ribbon, and what I do is I pull the tail until it unfrays, and then I take that frayed piece, and first I usually half it so it's like doubled up, and then I just kind of loosely wrap it around my fingers. Okay, and now I'm just going to lay this on the front of my card. Okay, just kind of making like a nest, right? But you're probably saying, how are you going to keep that down, right? Okay, so this is where my tag comes in. So I've got my tag, and I'm going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to put 5 on here because I kind of want to spread out my adhesive. And then I'm just going to pop these up. And then when I put this down, it's going to become the adhesive to hold that in place. See? So now it's kind of trapped in there. Okay, now I've got my sentiment tag. So I'm going to add a dimensional out here near the flower, and I'm going to add a glue dot toward the inside because it's already popped up there on the other tag. And I'm just going to put this in line like that. See? Okay, so then I said this second one we cut, stamped, we're going to fussy cut. Now I've already done that to save a little time, so I just fussy cut that out. And then I'm going to put that on dimensionals as well. And then I'm going to put that right on the top of my tag over the stamped image, so it kind of gives it a lifted effect. And that tucks that right in there. So there's our card, guys. So lots of layers, right? But not too bad. So I did a lot of die cutting, and then I did a lot of repetitive stamping, right? Kept it easy with one color. So you could do this card in any color. Maybe Melon Mambo's not your color. So do it in yellow, do it in orange, do it in purple, do it in whatever color you want. Okay? So there's that, and then there's my envelope, and there's the whole project come together. So just before I go, I do want to show you the tags that I was using. Wait, where'd they go? There they are. Okay. So here's the tags that are new to me. So they're called designer tags, and they're actually kind of cool. So I got the big one, right? That was the big one that I used. This one actually has an inset piece that will do some dry embossing for you. And then this one does my sentiment. But look at all those other tags that came in that bundle. So that's the designer tags dies. So those are new to my collection. So you'll be seeing those more in my projects as we go along here. So I hope you enjoyed today's project for our Make It Monday. Remember, celebration is a great time to stock up on items like cardstock, envelopes, adhesive, and then get some free stuff too. So whether it's stamp sets or designer series paper, or whether you want to go ahead and get the Wonderful World bundle where you get the stamp set and the paper that coordinates. So there you go. Remember, all the details will be on my blog, so follow the link in the comments below. Remember to subscribe here on YouTube so that you get notified whenever I share another video, show and tell. And you can leave me comments here, questions here, or over on my blog. I will respond to you quickly so that you're not left out there hanging. And I'd love to know what you think of all the projects. All right, everybody, go do some fun stamping. Have a great day. Bye-bye.